Hey everybody, in this video, we're going to do some core stability exercises in the form of planks and plank variations. Okay, so we're going to start at the basics of what a plank could and should be, and then we're going to progress it. I want you, depending on where you're at, I want you to, yes, try to move on to the next progression, but if you find that you're easily fatigued, if your form is breaking down, then we're going to stay where you can still perform with good technique. Over time, as you gain more stability, yes, you can move on. I still want you to watch the full video so that you can see what's coming, so you have a better understanding of why you need to spend effort on something that may seem super simple. So let's get started. First things first, a simple plank. We're going to lay on the ground with your arms folded this way into fists. Elbows are touching the ground, hands are touching the ground, toes are engaged in the ground, my back is nice and flat. This is our basic plank. While we're in the basic plank, we can squeeze our entire body. I want every muscle engaged for 10 seconds and then relax for 10 seconds. If you repeat this 3 times, that's going to take you 1 minute. And that's a really good basis there. 10 seconds on, 10 seconds off. 10 seconds on, 10 seconds off, 10 seconds on, 10 seconds off, and rest. If you find that doing this for 1 minute is too much, back down your time. Maybe do 8 seconds on, 8 seconds off, or 5 seconds on, 5 seconds off, until you can build up the endurance. But this is the foundation for our plank. Once we have the foundation for our plank, we're going to change it up a little. We're actually going to still keep core stability, but we're going to add anti-rotation. So the idea with anti-rotation, our core is meant to resist movement. If we want to be able to rotate to hit a golf ball, we need to first be able to prove to ourselves that we can resist rotation. The more rotation we can resist, the more power we are going to have in turning. Right? The idea being, you're a race car and we want to put better brakes on your car. The better and more powerful your brakes are, the faster you can accelerate, because we know you can safely stop. So anti-rotation, think of that as putting brakes on your car. So what we just did here was a plank where we were on our elbows, but we're going to change this. We're actually going to get into what's known as the quadruped position. And in the quadruped position, my hands are right underneath my shoulders, my knees are right underneath my hips, and my toes are engaged into the ground. And now, without letting my body move, I'm going to feel the pressure between my hands. So I'm thinking right now they're 50-50. 50% of my pressure on one hand, 50% of the pressure on the other hand. I'm going to shift all my pressure into just my left hand and then touch my shoulder and hold this for 3 seconds. And then bring it back down. And now without letting my body move, I shift all that pressure 100% to the right hand, hold my hand on my shoulder for 3 seconds, and bring it back down. Now, you may look at this and think, wow, this looks like a really simple exercise. And in a sense, it is a really simple exercise. But as with anything simple, we need to do it well. We need to master this movement, because if we find that we're getting a little sloppy and we see some movement and we're moving around, we're going up and down, we're leaning side to side, this exercise is not going to have the foundation we need as we progress it along farther. So even though it's a simple exercise, really take your time with this. This is a very important one, especially when we go into the next step. So we started with our plank with some squeezes. We moved into a quadruped plank with shoulder taps. To go to step 3, we want to evolve this. We're going to go from quadruped position into what's known as bear position. And the difference is your knees come off the ground. And this is going to make a huge difference from step 2 to step 3, which is why it's so important that we take our time with step 2. Here, knees are off the ground. And again, I'm going to feel all my pressure shift to my left hand, resist movement, hand on the shoulder for 3 seconds. Back down, shift to the other side, hold for 3 seconds, and back down. From the front, still hands under the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. I'm going to get my knees off the ground, and now without letting my body move, 1, 2, 3, back down, taking my time, resisting all movement, 1, 2, 3, and so forth. Next, we're going to take this around the world. So step 4, same start, we're going to add our legs into the equation. So from the side, we get into quadruped position, toes engaged, knees off the ground. Now we're in bear position. Resist the movement. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And that's one trip around the world. And lastly, we're going to take this to even the farther next step, bigger level. Brace for it. Your core is going to be fired up. Plank on our hands. Wider is going to feel easier. Narrower is going to be more difficult. So I like to start with my hands and feet about the same width apart, and you can play around from here. Now, to do our anti-rotation for 3 seconds, for 3 seconds, 3 seconds, and 3 seconds, becomes much more difficult. The lever is longer. We're really going to want to twist. As soon as you take a hand off the ground, your body's going to want to fall, and we have to resist that. The way we resist it is by engaging our core, squeezing our entire body, bracing, and then we can control the movement. Again, this is a complicated one, even though it looks simple. So make sure you're spending your time in the earlier stages, perfecting and mastering them as you move up into the more difficult ones. If you want to learn more and stay up to date with the latest and greatest in the world of golf mobility, find me on social media at Mobilitas Golf, or use hashtag #MoveBetterPlayBetter. I also encourage you to go to mobilitasgolf.com, sign up for my free weekly newsletter. It goes out every Monday, and I'll send straight to your inbox the latest and greatest techniques in the world of golf mobility. Move better, play better.